Wow, this figure looks amazing. Definitely one of the most badass figure in my entire collection. What's up guys, welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys unboxing and review video. So the figure we'll be checking out today is the Shadow Trooper from Star Wars. So I actually got him a few days ago, right from the Hot Toys official store in Shanghai. And I've also mentioned him quite a few times when making previous videos. And on the same day, I also picked up the Gold Chrome version Clone Trooper, and as well as a bunch of other Star Wars figures that are on sale. So I'm really excited about them, especially this one. He's looking very badass. I think this is already the second time Hot Toys ever released a figure like that. And last time they didn't have like the background, so I'm going to show you the details later. So right from the images here, you can see one of them is like him standing in front of the background holding his blaster. Another is holding his blaster pointed up to the air, so it's looking very cool. Another one is just him aiming at something, which looks great. Back here, just some bunch of information. And as we open up the box, we take out the front cover. You can see the Dark Trooper using his blaster to shoot down there. And up here, you can see Empire logo, which looks great. Down there, you're going to see the background of Death Star. It's red, so you can see Star Wars logo down there. And on the back, a bunch of information, a Shadow Trooper, and yeah, a bunch of stuff. So this is how it looks like. It's looking very badass, actually, when he's especially shooting down with this Photoshop effect. So you can see right here, these are everything that came with the figure, as well as the figure himself. So I've already set up the background. Back here you can see, but I haven't turned on the lights yet. So I'm going to show you the light effects later. Although he really didn't came with a lot of accessories, but you can actually make a lot of poses with him. Before showing you the accessories, I'll first show you the instruction. So up here you can see this is how you attach the pouches to the belt. And down here you can see how you place the thermal detonator onto his belt. And right here is how you place his little blaster into his holder right down there, which is made by pleather. And the other one is how you set up the background. And this one, I think, is a way for them to convince you to buy more of these figures, since it's teaching you how to attach multiple backgrounds together. So it's just a way of convincing, just the same as last time, which is pretty funny. Down there, another image of him, which looks badass. And it's also, I also made him do the same pose. So as you can see, they're actually identical. So now I'm going to show you his accessories. So these are just some pair of hands. That one is the open palm, and this one is like folding it a little bit. I'm not sure how you call it specifically. And this is just a fist. You actually get a pair of them. Since this is the other fist, you can actually get a pair, which is pretty good. And this one is just this is another blaster holding hand. Pretty sure it's the right blaster holding hand. And currently, no, that one is the left one, and this one is the right one. I already attached him right here, since he didn't really came with this pair of hand. I attach it later. And the other one is just another one, which is used to hold his blaster. So as you can see, this blaster could actually articulate a little bit as well. Up top here, there's a little piece which can move. The other parts are just solid. It's totally unmovable, but you can still see there's a lot of details on the blaster, and there's also like a bunch of dry brushings and gunmetal stuff effects, which looks great. Now I'm going to show you like the details of the background. So this is actually the first time Hot Toys ever made a background like a Death Star style diorama background in red color, since they always made the white one in previous versions of the white Stormtrooper. So it's pretty unique and it looks great. And back here is how you place the battery. So you can see there's you actually need 3 batteries back here. So put them in actually pretty deep. And now I'm already turned it on. They just used a piece of paper to hide it. And now the lights are on, so it's actually looking pretty great. However, it doesn't really look that significant. Like the effects, you cannot really see that well with the lights on. So now I've already turned it off to make sure you can see better. So they're actually pretty bright. Actually, like the first time I turn it on, it's actually brighter than I expected. Since this isn't, I already tested the lights the previous day. So I already knew, but it's still very impressive, especially when you put the the Shadow Trooper in front of it. When it's dark and you cannot see the Shadow Trooper clearly, you can only see the shadow or the shape of the figure. It just really looks very creepy and badass. Just looks awesome. And this is how he looks with the lights turned on. He also looks great. I like him a lot. Alright, so this is the Shadow Trooper. I'm sorry, I made a mistake again. Up close and personal, so you can see some details. So his lens right here is actually like made in a silver color, as well as his mouth part. I'm not sure if it's a mouth or something made by silver. It's not transparent, or it is not chrome either, but it still looks great. And up top here you can see a lot of weathering. So I've saw like the weathering shown in the Hot Toys official store when I was back. I was there a few days ago. I can see a lot of weathering, but I didn't expect this much since the lights were pretty dim, so I cannot see it clearly. So there were really a lot of weathering. However, I'm not against this since I think they look pretty good to make it look more realistic or somehow. Yeah, this one is like this piece. You can actually remove it. So when you remove it, he's just an average soldier, but when you put it on, he's already a Shadow Trooper commander. So if you happen to have the previous version, you can actually create a team with a commander and a soldier. So it looks great. Or you can consider purchasing two. It's how Hot Toys wants you to do, since they already showed us the image of a bunch of like multiple backgrounds attached together. So I can already see their purposes. So as you can see, the weathering is actually all over his body, and like all the pieces are like at least has a little bit of weathering. So this really shows how Hot Toys treat their Star Wars figures, since they really use their heart to make these figures, and I'm pretty impressed. I like it a lot. I think they just makes him look very very real, since if it's just way too clean, you would just think he's a toy, since usually toys are very clean. But if he just has a bunch of weatherings and details and stuff, he's going to make him look like a soldier. So back here you can see thermal detonators. You can actually move a little bit. These sides part, you can actually take them off. I actually attached them on, so they didn't really came with the figure itself, so they're actually just accessories being placed out there. And the thermal detonator could also be taken off. This piece, it's made by pleather. There's also a little magnet attached inside, although it's not strong, but it definitely works. So it's great. And now I'm just gonna show you how to place the gun inside it and how it looks. Although I don't think most people's gonna leave it there, since this is probably the only useful accessory to pose with this figure, since this is his only accessory, actually. The other ones are just hands. I don't think they're supposed to be called accessories, since you cannot place them on the figure at the same time. So this is the only accessory that he can hold. So I'm pretty sure most people is going to let him hold it or aim at something instead of just leaving it in this little pocket or stuff. So you just, after you place it inside, you just leave the magnet here, and then it'll be fine. So it still looks pretty good. I mean, if you really just let him stand there, if you just really like the pose of him just standing there and doing nothing, I think this is most probably where the little blaster is going to go, since there's nowhere else to put it, and if you don't put it there, it's not going to look good. So back here you can also see, these are the details of its leg and stuff. These armors could actually articulate a little bit. You can also take them off if you want to, but I don't think anyone's going to do that. Down there you can see also a bunch of weathering, which looks great, a lot of details. Even these little leg panels and stuff have weathering, so you can see how Hot Toys treat their Star Wars figures. Okay, so this is his boots or his shoes, but this is the only problem here, since he has a large gap between his leg and his shoe and his boots. So I don't know, it doesn't look that good, but it works as long as you just use the panel to cover it, right, like how I do in the video. So it's actually very shiny, like the boots, and you can also see the texture right there, although it's just a solid piece. And it also has a bunch of weatherings, and down there you can see it's actually smooth, and you can see some legal information, LTD, Hot Toys, Star Wars. So now we're just gonna take the blaster out, since I'm definitely not leaving it right there. Later in the future when I'm displaying him, I'm just letting him hold his blaster, since that is the coolest way. I'm letting him just standing on his display base while holding the blaster, just like how he did in the front cover of the packaging on the box. So I really like that pose, since I'm always impressed by how well the Photoshop works in the images that are taken by Hot Toys themselves. So I don't know. Sometimes I'm just not that good at posing, so I just can't create such a great pose and such a badass one. But I can just make them look similar. So here's the articulation. His head can move around freely. His arm could lift up approximately like that. Move front and backwards approximately like this. Yeah, that one is like restricted by the panel, so just like this. You can actually move it up and down freely. I think you can actually move it around 360 degrees. I'm not sure, or maybe 180, because I didn't dare trying it. I only tried 180, so you don't have to worry, since its articulation is already amazing. For his arm, well, you can only move it for around 90 degrees, since it's not much. It's restricted by the panels and stuff and armor. So his torso could move around like that. It's not really that much. For his leg can move up like this, just around 45, and this part also 45. For his shoes, for his feet, you can actually move it like this. Adjust it. It's not that much, not very impressive, but I think that's already enough, since you're not really making any crazy poses with this one. You're just letting him usually let him hold his blaster, or just seem like he's rushing somewhere, or he's aiming at something. You'll let us. Okay, so that's already enough. So here's a comparison of him between this gold clone trooper. So this is so I just want you to make sure to be careful while displaying, since last time when I was showing you the articulation of this clone trooper, I accidentally just scratched it a little bit. So do be careful. So this is a comparison of their jetpacks back there. Not really jetpacks, I'm sorry, just back panel. So I think the Imperial appearance is just inspired by this Republic appearance, the Clone Wars appearance. So they're actually inspired by each other. So they actually look very similar. However, they're not identical. There's still some there's still some apparent differences, and actually their backs, their inner suit is still made in different materials. For the clone trooper, it's a little bit softer and thicker. For this one, it's just different. So this is a comparison of him between Darth Vader. I thought of this because they're both in a very dark tone, and I think they might match with each other. And later, it turned out they're actually pretty good. So in the future, I'm probably gonna just place them together, or just perhaps near each other. Or I'm not sure if I'm really gonna pose them with this Vader, probably with the other one. So here's a close comparison of the Shadow Trooper with this Clone Trooper holding his two blasters. I've already let him do this pose for like a whole day now. I'm talking about this Gold Chrome Stormtrooper, since I posed him in that way last night, and they already kept that pose for a whole day. So it's actually looking very nice. I remember saying that the longer blaster is for the Phase 1 Trooper, and the shorter ones for Phase 2. I'm sorry, I probably made a mistake, since that's only how Hot Toys pose them in their official images in Photoshops. However, I don't think that's really the case, so you can use whatever blaster you want as long as it looks good. So I'm just letting him hold two at the same time, so it just really looks badass. one of them is short, one of them is long. Seems like he's about to fire. It's just, yeah, it looks great. And I also think the black color of the Shadow Trooper and the goldish color of the Clone Trooper just really matches with each other and just looks perfect. So this is probably how I'm displaying him. I'm displaying one Vader beside him, and also a gold chrome Clone Trooper beside him. Unless if I get the white Stormtrooper in the future, probably gonna place the white Trooper beside him. But I'm definitely gonna place Vader near them as well, since this figure really matches with the appearance of Vader. So I was just talking about Vader, and Vader suddenly appeared. So yeah, Vader is now holding his long lightsaber. just looking great, standing on his Death Star display base, so the theme actually matches. So the Death Trooper is also doing the same pose, holding his blaster with both hands and just standing there, staring at us, as well as Vader doing the same. So they're both in Death Star style diorama display base, so it just looks awesome. And I really like the appearance of how they look. And I was just saying I'm not sure what Darth Vader I'm gonna pose with this one. If later, like the Return of the Jedi release, I also pre-ordered that one, by the way. I'm probably gonna do a comparison with this Vader, and also I'm gonna compare it with this Dark Trooper as well. I'm sorry, I made a mistake again. Shadow Trooper as well. So let's just see the effects to see which one is better. Okay, so this is just another closer look at some poses of this like trooper, since there isn't really a lot of accessories, so there are only a few poses which you can do that seems perfect on this figure. So this is him just standing there with his Death Star background. Looks great. Just the same pose. This one is like also imitated the one on the box, so he's just aiming at something. And also I posed his legs, like in that way seems like he's just rushing or a little bit or something like that. Also looks great. I think this is probably my option in the future, since I think it looks better than just standing there straight and doing like that pose. It just, especially when you're looking at it for too long, you're just getting used to it. I think this one looks better. This one is also awesome. This just pointing the blaster to the air. It also looks great. You can also it made him seem a little bit taller, and he just looks good, especially when he's standing straight towards us, and it looks awesome. And just staring at us in his helmet, through his helmet, and with his Death Star background. I mean, I like it a lot. I really enjoy this figure, and I also enjoy the process of posing it, since he's actually pretty easy to pose. Unlike Darth Vader, I was having some time struggling with it. This one is just much simpler. In conclusion, I really enjoyed this figure, since he's unique compared to any other Star Wars figure in our collection, because he's just this dark armor. He's actually just a black stormtrooper, which, I mean, it's pretty good. He's just very badass, and I like it a lot. And also an interesting thing about this figure is that his number is MMS 737. So MMS actually stands for Movie Masterpiece Series, and which means that this figure definitely came from a movie. However, I don't remember seeing him in any of these Star Wars movies. I only heard people say like he once appeared in the comics as well as the Star Wars Battlefront game. So I'm not sure whether Hot Toys made a mistake, since, as I mentioned before a while ago, they've actually released this figure once. I don't really know its number back then, but this one's MMS. I'm not sure, but I really hope they make it in a movie, since I really like the appearance of this Stormtrooper and Shadow Trooper, and if they just make it in a movie, especially put it aside from Darth Vader, that's really gonna look awesome. So I think that's pretty much all for this video. If you're interested, please consider liking and subscribe, and I'll catch you in my next video. Later.